Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to another episode of Top Tier Talk. This week it was an entertaining football, to say the least. So, Manchester United and Chavez, take it away.
Oh, sure. Um, okay,
Sweet.
we played twice, Dan. Actually, we played Leeds twice, won 4-2 on aggregate. First game, Jadon Sancho scored the goal that equalised the whole game for us. We were brilliant. Well, we weren't brilliant, but we were better in the first game than the second one. At Leeds' ground, we were shit. It was like the old days, maybe because Maguire was playing, but it felt like the old days with David De Gea as well. Inability to pass the ball out from his box. He's doing his best, but yeah, he needs to move on at the end of the season. Aside from that, Ten Hag again in-game management just won us that game. He did something that no one would have predicted, and I'm sure everyone was ready to rip him apart when he decided to keep Weghorst on the pitch and sub off Sancho, and then he put Weghorst in the number 10 position, and it worked to a T. And we started creating more chances. I think Weghorst ended up creating the most chances on the pitch, and then we scored and got an assist. So he knows this team more than any of us pretend to. It's quite clear got the best win percentage in the Premier League for Man United. Obviously, it's a small sample size, but it shows how good a start he's had. No one expected us to be in the top four, let alone, well, even if people did expect us to be in the top four, it was in fourth. So to be up where we are now is really good. And he's still got more work to do, and he's done brilliantly.
So that's big question. The big question. I'm going to ask it once and for all, and I want you to answer it once and for all. Are Manchester United in a title race?
Well, I'll use your logic and say any team that can mathematically win the league are in the title race.
That's
You've,
true.
you've
No,
used
no,
that logic
no,
before.
no, I've used it because it's
I
stupid
mean,
to
you're
say.
in the title race.
No, but you're 5 points off Arsenal, right? Am I
A
or
bit.
2 points
Chelsea coming
behind
top
you?
four.
It's
We'll
five,
get to
five
Chelsea
points.
next time.
Five
No, we
points.
are 5 points, but
Listen,
they do play each other twice as well. So I think on our part, I do expect us to get a certain amount of points. With us, I expect a certain level of performance as well, which is great. It wasn't like that before. Back in the day, Man United could be one thing one day and shit the other. So now at least there's a standard. I think we'll get 80 points at least. And that's not enough to win a title, is it? I think Arsenal and City will get 90 plus. Obviously, on their part, if they collapse, for example, if Arsenal collapse, then maybe, and if City get a points deduction, that's a lot of variables. And I'll be happy with top four for the season. I predicted us not to get top four, so this is all overachievement.
That's it.
fair
You're,
enough.
you're 7 points clear of Spurs in fifth, so you're pretty much guaranteed top four.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. 80 points is enough to get top four.
Well,
Yeah.
not even
Yeah,
top
no.
four, but it's as you said, like it's quite an achievement as well in the first season of Eric Ten Hag to kind of get in top four as well. Because like, was it last season you got sixth as well with us when we got
Yeah,
fifth
it
or
was one
something
of
like
our worst seasons in a long time. And
I
even
beg
that,
to,
we could win a trophy. We're,
that? That's
we're
what I'm
still in
saying.
every competition.
Yeah,
I beg to differ that it's like it was obviously impressive what he's done with the squad he's inherited and stuff, but previous
better
Man
part.
United can I finish? Previous Man United managers have also had success in the early parts of their career. It's more about like past the two and the third season, isn't it, really, with
Like
these
who?
managers? Well, Ollie came second in. It was in his first or second season.
But he didn't win anything. He didn't win a trophy.
Mourinho won 3 trophies, and then the following season didn't he get sacked?
True, but I think the league
Van Gaal won a
position
trophy and then
is
got sacked as well.
getting a league position and also winning a trophy is a joke. Because league position, as I always said, is the most
That's what
reflective.
Mourinho did, though, didn't he? Mourinho got second, and he won Europa. And what was the worst? Was it League Cup he won?
FA Cup, I think it was.
What, in his first season?
I think it was in his first, but it was second. But like, he
I
had
don't think it was
success.
his first season.
No, I don't think so either.
I'll
But
fact
I'm
check.
just saying
We
in the
came
early.
sixth in Mourinho's first season.
No, you're right. But I'm saying like in the earlier parts of their career, it's more like Ollie as well. Ollie, when did Ollie finish his first season after that like incredible run? I
I
know he didn't
mean,
win a
Ollie
trophy,
didn't
but
get. We were screwed with Ollie. We didn't come second. We came second in his second season. We
where did
came
he come
like top
first?
four. He got, but then in his third season, everything capitulated. The only difference right now is Ten Hag can win a trophy and also show us league form, which is just unheard of for any manager at the start of this. Like, it's not happened before, especially with like how far down we were last season. Our squad was a shambles with Ralph Rangnick. Again, Rangnick. I was again win percentages. We just come off of a manager who had a win percentage of 37%, which is I think one of the worst in history as a Man United
Who?
manager.
Who?
And Rangnick,
But he
Rangnick
wasn't
at
a manager though,
37.
was he? He was never a manager. That's the
Well,
issue.
he was there for a very long time, and that's what Ten Hag took over, and this is where we are now. So it's
They
impressive.
weren't
You
that
can't
long
undermine it.
time. It was a
Okay,
short
yeah,
term.
but Chavez was right. They
6 months,
finished sixth in their
half
first
season.
season.
That's short term
And
then,
then it
no?
was 2017 was the Carabao Cup, so Chavez was right.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Chavez,
thought so.
I got a
But
question for you then, just after the base of that. So let's say, for example, the form carries on and everything like that, and you do manage to win, let's say, a trophy, and you finish in the top four this season. That's great. That's like expectations exceeded, fantastic. But then does that move your expectations for next season? So you push for the title next season, and you want to win like 2 trophies next season, or does it maybe remain
I think we
similar?
have to challenge for we have to challenge as a minimum for the title. We have to be in that race right to the end.
Okay.
If we win it, you can't just say win the title with all the competition. But at the same time, we should also be really high up in the Champions League, not just group stages. We're not very infamously good at knockout stages in the Champions League since Sir Alex left. We need to actually start getting to semi-finals and finals. So that would be the expectation, and it's quite mad that he's done that in 1 year. But if he's gonna, pull this off this season, then
Fair
sure,
enough, yeah.
the expectations will be
yeah,
high.
he's had like investment as well, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, if he gets Qatar behind him, then you'd expect even more.
Yeah.
But we'll see what
Yeah.
happens with that.
No, I think to build on your question of Elliot, I think we can all have like increased expectations after this season, and like, obviously Ten Hag's doing amazing. But if he doesn't get the backing, then he's obviously got one hand tied behind his back, isn't he? Next summer, so
I think
you
that
got
won't be an issue. If
you don't
we get
think.
new owners, that won't be an issue.
But it's if you get the new owners or when you get the new owners.
Do you think if he still had Glazers next season, for next summer, he would get backed, or do you think it'll end up being like a Mourinho where he cries for a defender and it never comes and stuff like that? What do you think?
I think it would be a lot like Sir Alex, where the manager's ability would kind of paper the cracks long term. So he'd probably buy a couple of players that aren't too expensive, maybe one marquee signing, and it wouldn't really mean anything in terms of long term. But it would actually, he's a manager who doesn't need much, to be honest, from what I've seen anyway. So he'd be like Sir Alex in that sense. He's definitely the best, I think, manager we've had in his, like, I know it's weird to say prime for a manager, but this is probably the best manager we've had post Sir Alex in their prime. We got Mourinho at
Over
sort of the latter
Mourinho?
stage. Well, I know he hasn't won anything to back it up, but he also hasn't had the ability to win a trophy yet. He's kind of, he can't win a trophy now. It has to be until 2 weeks now. We'll know. Then he'll be 100% in every competition he's competed. He'd have won. So I think in the manager in his prime and someone who can say he's got certain tactics and show them on the pitch, I've never seen us play like that. We have a
But do you
system
not
to our
think
game.
do you have Mourinho in his prime, or do you think it was just past it because he was
No,
just come back
it's
off of? I know that he got sacked at Chelsea, but he did win the league title the prior year, didn't he?
I don't think that was the best version of Mourinho. The best version of Mourinho for me was early on in his career when he won with Porto, went to Chelsea, and then Inter as well.
No, I agree.
Just one final question then, Chavez, before you go on to like a different team. Are you confident against Barcelona Thursday?
I don't think we'll win at Camp Nou. Again, if we beat Barcelona at Camp Nou, that's beyond a joke because that team is 11 points clear of Real Madrid. They're top of La Liga by a bit of a margin in a year where they've had financial disarray. Clearly, they've got a manager who's good. He's won a trophy already, Xavi, and they are playing the football that they used to. You can't say a bad word about them right now. So if we go to their pitch and beat them, that's ridiculous, especially considering Barca are the best defense in the world. We can all agree on that. They don't concede goals. Their stats are ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think they've conceded less than 10 goals in the league this season. So they are beyond a joke. And if we go there, even score a goal, it would be great. I think at Old Trafford we could take them. But it'll be interesting. I wouldn't be overly upset if we go out to Barcelona because they are that good. Xavi's further along in his process than Ten Hag. But we'll see.
Nice.
Anyone else?
That's it for me for United.
Cool. I'll step in with my boring Watford. Not even going to do a minute. We drew 1-0 with Blackburn. We went 1-0 down, and I said rescued a point late on. They scored an early goal through completely against the run of play, as per the Reading game was last week. Except we had to come from behind this week. Again, as you lot watched the Reading game, it was a game that again Watford should have seen out, same as this week. We had more of the ball, and a game that Watford should have won, but ended up drawing. Except it was reversed. We had to come from behind this week. Ryan Porteous have my kids and Wesley Hoot as well. What a beautiful man, scoring his second week in a row. Centre back scored a debut goal. But yeah, we've got Burnley tomorrow, so my Valentine's Day is being spent watching Burnley.
Or Dan's girlfriend.
Yeah, but well, the important things in life. Come on, me.
Don't make that a TikTok.
But yeah, no. Then we've got West Broms. We've got a couple of tough games coming up against teams around us and everyone around us in the league. Got games in hand. So as I say every week, Championship's always a tight league and a tough league. And yeah, I'll have to kind of revisit next week really. We could be closer to top two. We could be like 11th. So Yeah. Who was the least controversial? I'll go with Chelsea. Arsenal's still top of the league. I'll go with Chelsea next to me.
Yeah,
You're
see,
right.
Chelsea's still pony, still below Arsenal.
Save the best till last, but obviously you want me to go now. Yeah, Chelsea, West Ham. I was at the game, obviously. Saw some very good performances. Enzo was fantastic. João Felix, another one, fantastic. Should have killed the game off in the first half, like 3 offsides, but yeah, in Chelsea fashion, we drew. We're drawing merchants these days. But yeah, and I'm not Potter out, by the way, like everyone
What
thinks.
did you think of Potter's in-game changes in that game?
Potter's he's obviously a young manager and experienced. He doesn't know his best team for certain, so it's always going to be chopping, chaining, etc. But some of the changes to Laporte, I would have kept Mudryk on. Would have obviously brought Chilwell to support him because Chilwell's so much better than.
I was going to say, I wanted to raise that. I just wanted to say, what was your opinions on Cucurella that game? He just said like a pass back
Not
merchant.
great, negative player. He's obviously lacks confidence and needs to be dropped. But because obviously Chilwell's been injured for so long, he can't be dropped until now, hopefully. But he should be dropped.
Because can I make a point against that?
Go for it.
I'm going to link it to Watford because it's what I know. You lot don't know.
Bloody hell. Do you know what? I want to link all these videos that we have.
No, do it,
Dan.
Do it.
So, for example, our right back gets caught out a lot because Sar's so far up the pitch and he attacks and doesn't really track back as much. And it looked like when I was watching the game, it was the same as Mudryk. He was constantly on Kufal, constantly pushing forward, which then leaves Cucurella like open to obviously Bowen, which Bowen. Bowen got the assist. He knocked it on, but the cross came in from Cucurella's side, didn't it? So it's like I think
it came from his side, but it's not Cucurella's fault that the man at the far post was.
As in Mudryk so far up the pitch that Cucurella's been left open. They're just doubling up on him, and I think you could. I know it's happened for a while now, but obviously you've had your wingers have been quite attacking. I think he might be being negative to cover himself, maybe because if he tries something extravagant, it's not like he hasn't got anyone backing him up. He's on his own on the left hand side, basically in a defense.
Maybe, but the negative clips that everyone's talking about is from a corner. The ball comes back from a corner instead of clipping it back into the box. He's going straight back to the keeper, and West Ham are pushing out. So he's not even really being pressured that highly there, and he's been negative.
Obviously just in the game in general. Obviously, you want especially with Potter, we saw it at Brighton, and we've seen it glimpsed at Chelsea. Obviously, the wing backs overlapping and attacking, or the left.
I mean.
Maybe he hasn't been given a pass to Rome.
Mia, would you say so Cucurella is the most expensive fullback in world football history? Would you say that's a mistake on Todd Bowley's part, buying him for that much?
Not really. Not at the moment, no.
So you would say he's performed to that level or could potentially perform to that level of the best fullback in history?
As I'm going to repeat my words, I judge transfers from when they start at a club and when they end. Obviously, Cucurella is not doing well right now, but forms change, players change. We saw, example, Jadon Sancho has been very, very crap this season until now.
I will concede there's a very good chance Sancho will never live up to 75 million. Just like Anthony, I can categorically tell you.
No player is worth that. No player. You know, even Enzo's worth that money.
A lot of players can be. Van Dijk was worth the 80 million.
Yeah, obviously won a league title. Then we could say Havertz was worth it because he scored in the Champions League final. We can all say that. You
can argue that, but would you say Cucurella would ever live up to that 73 million most expensive fullback in world history?
Obviously not, because fullbacks should not be worth that much. But he's obviously on poor form, but over time, you never know. He could. What do you mean by the question? I'm confused. What do you mean by?
No, I just want to know if you can concede because you don't like to say Todd Bowley's made a mistake.
If we end up winning trophies in a dynasty, then yeah, he is part of it. He's worth it. Kyle Walker's worth 50 million. Then, if you want to go by that logic,
Kyle Walker absolutely is.
Yeah,
he's lived up to the 50 million.
Yeah, so why don't we judge the player over long term and not over 6, 7 months?
So you see that happening in Cucurella because I've already wrote Anthony off. I don't think Anthony will ever be an 80 million.
Well, that's the issue with some of your fan base and yourself as a football fan. You're very short term minded.
But do you know Anthony would have to break world records to be like?
He's 21. He's 20. He's not 21 in a new country and doesn't speak the language. You've got to think of other factors as well. It's not just to do with. I've seen some glimpses in Anthony. He scored in his first game, right, and stuff. I
think Anthony's going to be a great addition to us, but it's never going to reach 80 million, which is why it's a mistake on the part of the board.
We can bring that to every single transfer. Then Neymar's never going to be worth the 200 million then, because he's not worth it.
Yes, he is.
No, I think you could argue if he wins the Champions League, and he's very much capable of it. Then
he hasn't won it to this point, so we're going to say he's not lived up to it because he hasn't won it to this point.
Flop.
Okay, he's a flop then. Sure. Okay, then
For the 200 million, yeah.
Okay, fair enough then. If you want to go by that point, then yeah. So far, yeah, flop. Yeah.
Okay.
I do want to bring up a point in the game though. There was a handball call on Suchek that's got Chelsea fans like kind of
Yeah.
like ready to meltdown because obviously a penalty wasn't given. But
What
I
do you
didn't
think?
look into it too much. No, it was obviously a penalty, but I don't look into it too much because I remember in the first game at the Bridge, we Maxwell Cornet's goal got disallowed wrongly. So
That was shocking.
VAR works in both ways. You can be on the right side and the wrong side. No team is always on the wrong side, by the way.
Arsenal is, but
No, you think you are because you're obviously looking for the scapegoats. But every club gets their decisions going their way and they're going against.
You know,
It's not
I haven't.
Arsenal against the world type
it
nonsense.
is. But yeah,
What I
But
was going
yeah.
to say with that is, I haven't read up and I've watched it back and whatever, but I haven't actually sat and read through. You know, they come out and go, "Oh, we disallowed it or we didn't give it."
Yeah.
I think it's is the rule not if they're propping themselves up? Was it Arsenal United last year and it wasn't given when Mike Leigh tried to knock it past Shaw
he scored.
and his arm was on the floor? I
He
think
scored.
no, no, as in, there was a penalty call. I think it was
Oh.
because Souček was trying to hold himself up, maybe, or like he was.
Yeah, some
you know,
people say it was the hand, it was the
Yeah, but then
falling
don't dive
down.
to the floor. Who dives to the floor like that?
No, you've dived to the floor to make a tackle, but it was unnatural. It looked like he went towards
Yeah,
the ball.
exactly.
So it was a pen, but I don't start crying over it. I just
No.
move on to the next game, and you've got
That's
to
it.
think long term. That's why I'm not
So
Potter.
it's a case of you make your own chances, and if you're not leading in the game, your own fault. Sort of thing.
Exactly. We had 2 offside calls or 3 offside. Like we hit the ball in the back of the net like 3, 4 times, and in the second half we didn't play like we did in the first half. We were quite impressive in the first half. So it's our own doing, and the changes didn't help either. But I saw so many positives, especially in the new players we signed, which shows the players we signed in January. There's been a lot of thought behind them, etc. And they're the right players and the right type of players for Chelsea. So I'm quite happy about that. And if we make Felix permanent, if that gets done, I'll be
signing.
extremely happy. I don't understand. I think United fans are absolutely bonkers for letting that loan deal go to waste, to be honest. He's shown so much in one game that Havertz has shown all season, by the way. And that's crazy to me.
It is.
Definitely worth
Mate,
it.
you have last question. You have 31 points in 22 games. From this point on, with everything now, you've invested quite a bit. How many points would you kind of want?
I'll take 40 points. I think that's the minimum so you don't get relegated. That'll be quite good.
So you're looking for 9 points from the next 16 games.
Absolutely. And then from there, because this season's always been a write-off for me, from then I look into the summer window. If Potter gets the right players he wants in, and then we get the outgoings, and then I can judge him fully. I'm not Potter in or out at this Potter out, sorry, at this point. But yeah,
Do you not think Potter getting the investment that he did in January will at least warrant a few more points?
I can see where Chelsea fans have come from with that, etc. But when you sign so many players, it takes time to gel. You're not going to all instantly have a great impact.
Wait,
so
hold on. I want to ask them, if you come 17th, is that good? Is that fantastic? Potter stays great.
Yeah,
bearing in mind the January you've spent more than every other league.
17th is great.
Yeah, but we've spent in the long term.
No. It's 17th great.
I'm answering 2 questions. Can I finish one and then go to yours?
Yeah, go for it.
Sure, brilliant. What's your question now? Because that one's answered.
Is 17th a good position for Chelsea to finish in?
Well, obviously not in the grand scheme of things.
But you said 40 points is okay.
40 points is okay because I don't think we're getting Champions League and I don't want to be in the Europa League or Conference League. So I just want to focus on the league and domestic tournaments this season. So I don't really see that.
But shouldn't you expect a bit more when you spend more than every other top 5 league combined?
Yeah, I would expect more. My expectations rise after the summer window.
You get your 40 points.
We get the 40 points.
But you get relegated and win the Champions League. It's a perfect season for you. You get your 40 points and you win the Champions League.
Yeah, no one actually talks about that, by the way. We're still in the Champions League.
Which you're going to get swiftly getting out of, yeah.
You have 2 games. You have 2 games after the Champions League.
Because everyone laughs at the fact that AC Milan top of the league and we thumped them, thrashed them home and away. So, and that was with
you got Dortmund, who are unbelievable.
Okay, I have a last question. Since you have Dortmund next, right, and you have Dortmund at Dortmund, Dortmund have won their last 8 games consecutively in a row. What do you predict for the result in the first leg coming up?
I'll take a 1-0. Easy.
No, you'll take a 1-0, but what do you predict is going to happen?
I think Chelsea could win 1-0. I do think we have the players. We have individual.
No, you always have
Dortmund,
the players.
at the
You spent
Dortmund
the most in Europe, but
at the Dortmund ground, you get a 1-0 win.
I think we'll get a 1-0 win. Yeah, I'll fall on that sword. What is so
Okay.
funny? You guys don't even watch the Bundesliga. You just look at league position because you don't even know that Union
What
Berlin.
do you watch it? Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
watch
claiming
it.
Okay,
to,
so
but I'm also not laughing like an absolute dumbass.
Eight wins in a row is pretty
Dortmund.
Yeah,
indicative
pretty.
of a good team.
Yeah.
When
Aren't
did
they?
you win 8 in a row?
Dortmund have
Huh?
actually been
2016.
shaky. Dortmund have
When
been
did we
conceding
win?
quite a lot of goals, to be fair. So Chelsea could
Thank
get.
you, thank you. You two don't know. You hear Dortmund and then just start wheezing and laughing. But as
They've
Dan
been
said, they've
grinding out a lot of
conceded.
results, but they've been conceding.
There you
First
go.
leg.
Watch the league, watch the teams, and then bring up valid points. I
Also,
think.
do you think you're okay? I keep having questions.
Fucking
Last
hell,
question. Do
Chavez.
you?
Of
No,
course you do. It's a
this is
hot
a genuine
topic.
question because I
Yeah.
question the mental capacity of some of your players. This Dortmund team you're going to play, they
Mhm.
usually have 60,000 in the stadium because they had a ban on how many they can have.
Sure.
They are now going to have a full capacity 81,000 fan stadium behind them in that game. Don't you think your players are just going to fall? Like they can't do it in
No, because they're
grounds like West
professional
Ham.
players. Do you think it's the first time
Ah,
players
listen,
have played
Brian. Then
away?
how are they
Is
going to
this the
do it at
first time these
Dortmund?
players have played away? What kind of nonsense is that?
Well, it does look like that every time you do play away, and it's
Do
against
we?
small teams.
We're unbeaten since what was that, the Man City game? But no one talks about that. We're
That's a
unbeaten.
strange stat.
But we are unbeaten is the correct stat. We might not have won the
Are you
games.
proud of that stat?
3 or 4 draws. It's positive than losing games. Yeah, of course I'm happy. If we get ourselves to get the 40 points, then why wouldn't I be happy?
Let's hope you get it.
I think we will. I think we'll get it. And the window's coming. The summer window's coming.
Just had a window.
Winter is coming.
Should we just go
Winter's
to Arsenal now?
winter came. Summer's coming now.
Elliot's
After
been
this,
chopping at the bit.
no, I think he's just trying to get his Dortmund players out because he doesn't have a clue. He only knows Marco Reus. But should we move on to Arsenal now? I think. Unless
Yeah,
there's
go
any
on,
more
Elliot.
questions. Let's go.
Move on to Ivan Toney. What a man. Baller.
Fantastic player.
Shut up.
Well, while Elliot does that, I would like to remind you that Arsenal played Brentford and dropped points, and yet again, VAR made a decision to the point where they had to apologise, and Lee Mason now might actually be sacked. So that continues the trend of every time Arsenal have dropped points in the Premier League this season, there's been an outright
Due to a human
error
fucking
from
error.
VAR.
Correct.
An error,
Yes.
yeah. So
That
it's
is
quite
most certainly
scary
correct.
what's going on there.
That is certainly
But
correct.
you didn't play well. This is
Chavez?
the first time you didn't actually play well. You didn't play great. Brentford did play really well.
Hold my hands up. Brentford actually pretty much like played very well against us. We're lucky. Well, we're lucky to
But
get
again, you
like
probably
even
should have
I
drawn
mean,
won.
it. But then
Chavez said it last
we should have
week.
won that.
Chavez said the most informed team, aren't they? So is it?
Yeah, they were brilliant. They were brilliant.
Yeah.
This is unbelievable, though. This is what I want to cover, though, because for some reason this has happened twice now. Chavez, first of all, what happened against you when Martinelli's got a wrongfully disallowed goal against yourself, which shouldn't have been disallowed, and then all of a sudden they come out and say, "Yeah, we apologise." Fucking shut up about apologies. Like I don't care about you saying, "Oh, look, we'll brush ourselves off." Fuck you, apology. Fucking hell, I can't even speak. Fuck you, apology. I've had enough. Like apologies aren't enough. Sack the fucking idiot. Lee Mason's been a problem for every single fucking football club since Arsene Wenger was back at the managerial point of our club. He's been a problem. He's been fucking useless the entire time. And shit like this just goes, oh, well, they just come out and just say, we apologise. It's human error. And that's it. That's it. What's going to happen next? Oh, you get it in the fucking Daily Star or some bullshit like that where it goes, Lee Mason. And then in capital letters, axed from the next game. Oh, who fucking cares if he axed from the next game? Because then he's back in the previous fucking next week. Do you know what I mean? He's back. Oh, all of a sudden he's back. If we made a mistake in our job that cost us, like, do you know what I mean? That cost a certain department like a downfall. They'll put us into a fucking meeting and be like, "What's wrong with you?" One, it'd probably come and put us onto like a
Well,
sanction.
that's what they
like,
did. There was an emergency meeting Sunday, so
he'll
they
get a
done
pay.
it.
So it's okay. So that emergency meeting, what came out of that? We don't know. Do you know what I mean? If
Could
he's going to
possibly be
get a
sacked.
paid
Well, they did
for
what you
3 week
said.
vacation, a paid for 3 week vacation, come back and do fuck all again in the VAR box because he's useless. He's so How can you forget to put the lines in? He's let the fucking panic get to his head. So at one point, he's looked at one offside and gone, yeah, that's onside, even though his shoulder's completely offside. Idiot. Okay. But then the next point, when when Pinnock heads it again onto the number 5 for Brentford, and he's offside. How can you forget to draw the lines? I don't understand.
It's almost.
I was going to say, while you capitulate there, I did mention the downfall of Arsenal. So you played Everton, inevitable, new manager bounce, you'd lose. Then you played the most informed team in the league, draw. Now you're going to play Pep, who's currently going through a villain era. I expect Man City to come out of that game with a win or a draw. Then you play Villa. You go to Emery. I also expect you to lose that game. Your downfall has begun. And I'm
No,
sorry,
it hasn't.
but I
You
do feel
lot are
like
fucking
it's not even your
unbelievable.
fault. It's no. It's not even your fault because that Brentford game you probably should have won with the decisions. And the Everton game had a terrible decision against you as well. The script has been set, and I think it's not going to end well for you.
This is what I was about to move on to say.
Don't expect to win the league from this point. I think Man City are going to go on some crazy.
No, hold on a minute. I just want to finish my rant very quickly.
It's a 2-second point. It's 2 seconds. We asked Elliot 2 weeks ago if they're going to win the league, and ever since then, they've dropped 5 points.
Oh yeah, I'm a curse. I put in a Valacadabra curse on fucking Arsenal when that was gone downhill. My fault. Sorry, Arsenal.
Carry on, Elliot. Just carry on.
I can already see you losing 8 points from this point, Elliot. So
this
2 against Man City, 3 against Villa, and 3 against at the Etihad. When you will get banged in that game.
This is what I want to say though. This is what I want to say. Okay, look, yeah, I agree with you, Chavez. There wasn't much of a performance that we saw against Brentford. I mean, it was quite booky, but we still managed to scrape a draw out of that. But we should have won that game because stuff like the VAR should be looked at. Yeah, we could have come away with a 1-0 win, and even though we played bad, but 1-0 a win is a win. And let's say, and then I said this to everyone I've probably pretty much spoken to about the Arsenal game coming up against Man City. That game, this coming Wednesday, is going to be the most important game for Arsenal Football Club in the past 20 years, in my opinion, because that game deciphers, I think, whether or not we have a growing chance. Because obviously, everyone's deciding whether or not, like, let's say, for example, Chavez, you're right, and we lose that game, and Pep comes and gets 3 points at the Emirates. Then you put some distrust in the Arsenal fans because you've been dominating, and all of a sudden it's just gone whoosh. Do you know what I mean? But then, like, because we've been playing absolutely perfect football, and I'm sure you can agree as well. We've been playing some absolutely gorgeous football, like tiki-taka stuff back to Arsene Wenger ways, and then all of a sudden it just kind of drops off for a bit, and I don't understand why. But let's say, for example, worst case scenario, it goes to the final day, and we play Wolves at home, and then all of a sudden, like, it's a gap between, let's say, for example, Man City. Let's say Man City have a gap of, let's say, 92 points, and we have 93. Technically, we should have already won that fucking league because we should have got a win against Brentford. Yeah. But then this is what I'm saying. This has happened twice. 2 human errors has happened to us.
There's nothing we can do. It's unfortunate.
Should we go back and play the last 10 minutes? What do you want to do? There's nothing we can do. And the only thing that can be done is training.
I want to take Lee Mason to fucking court. That's what I want to do.
But I do think, like, we've watched enough football. The script has been set. Like, you'll play City, you won't win. One of their first team players will get injured. Like, it's set. It's not even that.
I just think this squad has been maximised, used as much as possible, and it's a thin squad. It's got great 11, but it's a thin squad.
And injuries are coming.
Injuries are coming, as you said. Players have kind of stagnated. Martinelli, I think Saliba missed all 10 of his aerial duels, etc. But it's going to happen when you have a squad that's against Man City. You're not going to be able to compete. I mean, you've done well till now, but.
Okay, Amir, we'll come back to this next week. If we beat Man City, I want your opinions next week.
I always said, podcast. I think if you do the job over Man City over both these games, then the title's yours. But right now, it's looking a tiny bit peak for you.
Amir, I also want to put a bet on. If we win the league, I want you to openly say on this podcast, Arsenal's the best team in London.
Yeah, but they would be though. Because you won the league. What kind of nonsense is that at the moment?
Yeah, but I just want video proof as well. I just want you to just.
You want video proof?
I want you to look at the camera and say Arsenal's the best team in London. Thank you.
I'll say you're the best team in bloody England because you win the league.
Yeah, you didn't win the London league. You won the Premier League.
Yeah,
we're winning all the London leagues anyway. We're smacking Chelsea and Tottenham left, right, and centre. Don't matter about them. Lower league, mid-table teams anyway.
Elliot, I want you to focus on something I've.
What do you want me to focus on? What am I, Mikel Arteta's partner?
No, because you're an Arsenal fan and we can ask you questions. No?
Go for it.
Do you think your winter window, the January window, do you think the players that were signed and the players that could have been signed, do you think that was the issue?
No, not at all.
That part of it? No?
Not at all. No, not at all.
I think it's historically crazy that Arsenal even signed the players they did. They usually don't sign anyone.
Yeah, I guess so, but
like again, they can't be disappointed about.
It might be coming to a point where complacency is becoming an issue in this club, where people are still like they're pretty comfortable in their own position, so there's no point in kind of fighting for their position. Now that Trossard's come in and banged a goal against Brentford, Martinelli's gonna be like, shit, I've got to step up now because I hate to say it, the GOAT, but he's been a bit off it for the past couple of weeks, like, which is a pain in the ass to see.
Would you be disappointed if you lost? I don't think you should be disappointed though. This is Man City.
Yes, I will be disappointed.
Like, it's inevitable. It's inevitable.
We're at our home ground and we've been playing the best football this season. Yes, I'll be disappointed.
This wasn't about winning it. It's about the friends you made along the way.
one of the best squads in the world, and
We're one of
unfortunately,
the
no
best
one
squads in the
keeps
world.
it.
We're top of the fucking
Oh,
Premier
you have
League.
one
You're
of the
not.
best
You're
11s.
not.
You have one of the best 11s in
Shabazz,
the World Cup League.
you change your tune every fucking
No,
week
yeah,
about
you
every
have
club.
you have one of the best 11s in the world, top 3 maybe, but not squad. I wouldn't even say top 10 for squad.
How does that make sense?
Because a squad
Because the
involves
squad
players
consists
outside
of
of the first
18.
11.
Because they're 18 players, mate.
Oh, we have a better squad than you, Man United do. Chelsea definitely do.
And they're 10th.
Yeah, they do. Like 11,
Yeah,
sure, you're probably
you're
you're probably
complaining
second
on
behind
these
Napoli
facts.
and Barca, maybe. Napoli and Barca.
Listen. I'm confident going into Wednesday. My
You
team,
have to be
Arsenal
because
Football Club, we're winning. And do you know what the score's going to be? 2-0
it's
to
squeaky
us.
poo time. It's
2-0.
squeaky poo time for us, right?
Squeaky
So,
bum
and he
time
has
is what it
to
is,
try
actually.
and
But
confront this. He has to confront this with
listen,
confidence, but deep
watch
down, he's
this
absolutely
space next
shitting
week.
himself.
I'm
And I
I'm
would be
saying
shitting.
it. 2-0
I
Arsenal.
would be
And it's going to
shitting
be an
myself.
Okay.
I
Odegaard
would be.
banger in the
I
11th
think it
minute.
will be
And then a Saka 75th
1-1.
minute. No, 2-0.
1-1.
2-0.
Saka will score because he always scores in these games. 1-1. But I think Xhaka will get injured.
It was nuts. You think if Erling
Right,
Haaland's out, we've
Genie.
got bloody Julian Alvarez on the bench, a World Cup winner. That's how mad the squad is.
Oh, World Cup winner. Christian Romero is a World Cup winner for fucking Spurs.
I still think your aim
Praise
should be
him.
top 4 this season. Your aim should be top
Because you're
4.
not playing Spurs, you're playing Man City.
Listen, you guys, well, as I said, look, it's fine. Shoot your shots. We'll watch this video. We'll come back to this video next week when we beat them 2-0. I'm just saying. I'm putting it out there. There's no point
But
in
to
scoring
avoid
2.
heartache, shouldn't you say your objective is top 4 this season?
It was, but now it's changed. Objective
But it
changed.
still is. Your objective is top 4.
We're winning the league if we beat Man City.
You're a
Okay,
dickhead, Ross.
Elliot. If
No, because it is. It
if
was at
you
the
win
start of
league,
the season.
Elliot, if you win the league, where do you come in the league?
What do you mean? What? If we win the league, where'd you come in the league?
Yeah, what position do you come? If you win the league, what position do you come?
What is this trick
What?
question? Is that a trick question?
There you go. Well, no, then you finish in the top 4. So top 4 is
Okay, Al, I will make a
Oh.
statement.
It's
I think if you lose on Wednesday, you're coming third in the league.
I think if they lose, they're in the Europa League spot.
Shabazz, how long did your title charge last for? A week?
We're not in a title race, Al. Our target is top 4.
Stay there.
You're such an
Stagnant.
idiot. You said in a fucking player rating like 2-3 weeks ago, we're in the title race. We're in
Yeah,
the
see,
title
I'm telling you,
race.
Shabazz
We
changes his
all
opinions
are.
like
I mean,
that.
you're in the
Like
title
pixie
race.
dust.
No, but you thought you were in a title race, and you still think
I mean,
you
it's in a
are.
relegation battle, Shabazz. Let's
Yeah,
remind him out of the way. Let's
We're
screw
close
him
to
out.
relegation.
Yeah, I don't know why
He
I
was
always
40
trust him,
points
but
out this season.
yeah.
40 points out this
Right.
season.
Let's go into other teams very quickly. Spurs. What do you look really quickly think of Spurs?
Love it. Fuck Spurs. 4-1 against Leicester, who are quite shit at the moment as well. Love it. Love it.
James
Love it.
Maddison.
Love it.
What a man. Also, can I just point out Southampton? Goodbye, Nathan Jones, you ex-Luton, little Welsh dwarf.
He was
Are
such a
they
strange
above you
man.
in the league?
Strange one, yeah.
Are they above you in the league?
See you later.
Liverpool play
No.
Everton tonight. What's your opinions?
Sean
Well,
Dyche.
hopefully
I think if
win.
Everton win today, now's the perfect time for Klopp to walk and say that, fuck this.
Oh, ridiculous.
He should have done
That's
that.
ridiculous.
No, not sacked. Like, he should leave on his own accord.
Liverpool at home as well, so
He shouldn't leave either. He should
And
stay.
take over Chelsea and bring back greatness.
right. Well,
Do you want Graham Potter sacked? Do you think he'll be sacked?
it's not for us
I
to
don't trust
decide.
Bowley.
Yeah.
You don't trust
Anyway.
Burnley?
That's this juicy episode. But catch us next week when you see this 2-0 Arsenal win come out of nowhere and Chelsea still lose probably. But yeah, we'll see you next week. And thank you very much for watching.